So we are now ready for our very last part of this special series, Think as an Entrepreneur. We're going to talk about entrepreneurial mindset today. Let's get into it. Are you ready? Welcome. This is HouJack, DMS Live Learning. I am Gwendolyn R. Houston Jack, the Master Career Coach Digital Marketer here at HouJack Digital Marketing Solutions. And we've been having all August, we've been having this conversation about think as an entrepreneur, right? And we've been discussing some really high-level topics that talks about developing the mindset to truly operate as a small business owner. So we're ending this series, because it's the end of August, with focusing on the entrepreneurial mindset. And what is it? How do you get one, right? So let's get into our conversation and discuss the three topics that we are going to dive just a little bit deeper into today. One, we're going to talk about committing to change, right? At that moment of commitment, the universe conspires to assist you. I'm sure you've all heard that. Truly, though, are you really committed to change? Because everybody says it. We do a lot of talking. It's a lot of talking. But are we really ready to make that change? Then we'll jump into what's an entrepreneurial mindset. Like what attitudes, what qualities, what beliefs are present in most of your successful entrepreneurs, right? We have a small list that we're going to share. And then lastly, we're going to talk about creating new habits. Now, studies show it takes 21 days to create a new habit. 21 days. To make that new habit part of your everyday lifestyle, you need 90 days. So this is not a sprint. This is a marathon, people. So the question is, are you really ready to make this change? Create these new habits? We're going to figure out. So let's start with committing to change. Let's just start with that one first and get into a couple of the things that will let you know if you have the right mental attitude to make the change. Number one, recognize where you are today. You know, when someone decides to start a new health program or what have you, they'll either work with a doctor or a fitness coach or somebody. They do an assessment. There is an assessment of where someone is today in this moment. From there, they create the plan for whatever the change needs to be. So the same goes for you as well. Like, look at where you are today, and you want to be honest about where you are today. Think about what you know, what you're really not sure of when it comes to business acumen, business understanding. And then also put into that where you want to be. Like if you put those two things side by side, then you can see where the gaps are. But you have to recognize where you are today. Like we need to be open and honest with ourselves about where we are so that we can get to where we want to go. So I talk about it again at the moment of commitment. Now, the entire quote is, at the moment of commitment, the entire universe conspires to assist you. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. When you have that commitment to change, you want to tell others about the journey that you're on. Now, I know that you're going to see a lot of things out there on social media that really works from a place of fear or a scarcity mindset. Don't tell people your dreams. Don't be so transparent. Don't share everything. You don't know what people are going to. I'm telling you right here, right now. You want to share your dreams, your journey with others. Because when you do, the universe will respond and they're going to send help your way. You don't know if the person you're talking to knows the person that you need to meet to help you do whatever it is you want to do. You don't know that. And you'll never know it because you're keeping those dreams and you're keeping those aspirations. You're keeping those journey milestones to yourself. Talk to people. It's okay. As a matter of fact, when you get with the right people, when you find that right tribe where you're comfortable, they want you to share, they promote you growing to be whoever it is that you wish to be, you're going to find that it's actually pretty easy. But people want to help other good people. They want to help. So find you the right people. But when you commit, it's as if the doors open, the heavens just part. I mean, everything comes together at that moment of commitment. Now, here's the last thing about that, because I again, I believe in moments of commitment. Like I have told people my dreams and stuff, and surely enough, things have come my way because I'm telling people, I'm talking about what I aspire to do. But there's a place for realistic expectations, right? I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. When you create change, it's like an ultra marathon. Let's just go ahead and go there. It's huge. You need to be realistic with yourself about what you expect and when you expect to see it. Now, we've seen the memes where someone's like, I worked out. They get right back on the scale and it hasn't moved. Okay. The same happens for habits. It's going to take time. We know it already takes 21 days. And then for it to be part of your normal everyday lifestyle, it takes 90 days. So you're going to give yourself at least 6 months, maybe 8 before you're like, oh, okay. Now you're going to see some small changes. You're going to find those wins and you're like, oh my goodness, this is what it's all about. Of course, you're going to see that. But when you want to see the big changes, the things that you want to like write home about, give yourself some time, be realistic. Don't go out here thinking I'm going to do this thing and the world's going to turn around and it's going to pop off. And yeah, no, we want to be realistic, put it out there, but keep in mind there's work that needs to be done. So what is an entrepreneurial mindset? Let's talk about what's in the toolbox first of all. Now, this is just from some fairly successful entrepreneurs. And when I say fairly successful, I'm not even going to define what success is because that you should define for yourself. But do know that in surveying these people, there were a couple of things that kept coming up. So one of them is, there's a lot of self-awareness. There is a great deal of self-awareness. Like you have to be honest about where you are and who you are. You're fooling no one but yourself. Well, actually, you're not fooling yourself either. So have a high level of self-awareness. They're also lifelong learners. This is not a place where you're like, yep, I've mastered it. I'm good. I'm out. No, we keep learning. Keep striving for the next greatest thing for yourself. You keep pushing the boundaries. You can't stay in one spot. You yes, you can, but you just get stagnant. And then the last thing is adopting certain habits and attitudes. There's a certain attitude that people have when they are, again, fairly successful entrepreneurs. There's a certain attitude that they have. They have particular habits. If you get on social media and you follow a good chunk of them, you will see them. A lot of them talk about, here are the habits that I adopted to be XYZ. I get up early in the morning. I do this. I work out. I read da-da-da-da. There's tons of things. You can see it. The proof is out there. It's in the pudding, right? So check your toolbox. What's in your toolbox? The second thing I really want to focus on is expanding your comfort zone. And notice that I didn't say step out, right? Don't step out, because if you step out, you can step back in, right? When you expand your comfort zone, you are growing what is comfortable to you. You're seeking out new challenges. You're embracing small doses of discomfort. You know how they say you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable? That happens a lot when you're a small biz owner, when you are an entrepreneur. Things are going to feel weird and wonky. You're like, oh my God, I don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. And the more you do this, you continue to expand your comfort zone. At one point, for some people, talking about their business, even saying that they had one, was like daunting. Now, when people go out, this person may very well shake hands, pass out business cards, and just, the more you do certain things, the easier it becomes. So you want to expand your comfort zone. Don't step out, expand it. Lastly, embrace a growth mindset. So instead of asking, what's the worst that could happen? And I don't like that question at all. Don't like it. Turn it around and say, well, what's the best that could happen? Because people are so quick to say, well, what's the worst that could happen? If I asked her out and she didn't say yes, well, what's the worst that could happen? She could just say no, right? I could just better yet, why not say, well, what's the best that could happen? Well, I could ask her out. She could say yes. The next thing you know, I found love in my life and we could go sailing. Who knows? Right? But ask what's the best that could happen. If I put myself out there and told this person about my business, or I asked this person for a little bit of their time to just dig deeper into like XYZ, what's the best that could happen? And start thinking about all the great things that could happen when you embrace that different way of thinking. See, the way you see the world is going to impact how you move in these entrepreneurial waters, right? The way you see the world. Now, tied to how you see the world, how you're showing up for yourself, is adopting an understanding that you're not done. This goes back to number one, that lifelong learning. You now understand that your abilities and your intelligence, it can be developed over time. No one comes into this world knowing everything. Now, we all know somebody somewhere that has an affinity or an intelligence for a particular topic. My sister is amazing at art. It's a natural talent. These are your natural talented people. But even those people could be even better if they studied under someone else who was better, or if they continued honing their skills. Now, I am not an artist, but I have taken some art classes. And I could do some very basic things in my head, but I can get some things out. We're never done learning. And we also know, unfortunately, that some of us may have been in school where a teacher or someone said, oh, you're never going to get to this. That's just not your strong suit. You'll never do this. We have to unlearn some of the things that we learned. And one of them is that I'm only meant to do one thing and I will never be able to do X, Y, Z. It's just... Now, I may be tall, but I can't play basketball. I can practice and I can probably get some basics, but it's not in my wheelhouse to ever be a professional basketball player, right? So this just simply says, look, I can develop my abilities. I can continue growing my intelligence, growing my understanding, learning more about a topic. I didn't have to have this natural talent. It can be developed. That is what growth mindset is. We are always growing, always evolving, always learning. So grab tight of that growth mindset, of that understanding, and just flip the way you currently see the world and how you're currently operating in the world. That brings us to creating some new habits. First up, picky consumption. Now, I talked in the last slide that if you were to go on social media today and look at a number of successful entrepreneurs, they have habits and they're going to tell you about it. They'll also tell you about what they consume. I'm going to say this. There's always room for foolishness. There's always room for foolishness. Yes, there is. I may have been the kid who spent her summers in the library, but I am still the person who will sit down and watch like $1 Million Listing. I'm just saying. There's room for foolishness. However, you do want to be picky about your consumption. So be aware of the content that you're consuming, right? If you want to be a small business owner, or you are a current business owner or current entrepreneur, you should be reading more books, more articles, listening to podcasts that focus on entrepreneurship. You should look at attending workshops, going to a couple of seminars, doing some online classes to learn more about entrepreneurship. We are never done learning. Never done. Now, I've been doing this for what? 11 years? And I still take classes. Because just when you think you have it all, no one ever has it all. We never have it all. So think about how you spend your time. Think about what books you read. Right? I got a good mixture of books. I got a good mixture of some business books. I do a little horror, a little documentary stuff in there, a little history. I listen to a couple of podcasts. Some of them are business related. Some of them is foolishness. We have to have a good set, but think about what you're consuming. If you don't have any anything about small business or entrepreneurship currently in your mix, maybe time to bring in one or two things. Next is your feedback and self-reflection. Feedback is so huge. You need to get feedback from your current customers. Let's start with there. Let's start with that one because that's a good one, right? Because these people who are currently using your product, using your service, and may actually like it, it's so easy to do a quick survey, get feedback about what you like about a business. If you could change anything, what would you change, right? You want to have those open lines of communication to get honest and compassionate feedback. And that should also come from your mentors and your peers. You want honest, open, compassionate feedback consistently, not every 6-8 months. You want it consistently. Maybe like once a month? Depends on how often you meet with some of these people. But you want to know what's going on. You know, what you're doing well and what you could possibly change for the better. It's never an idea of what's going wrong. Nothing is wrong. I mean, stealing is clearly a wrong thing. Cheating your customers, that's the wrong thing. We're not saying that. What we're saying is everyone has their idea or their opinion of how something should go. Keyword there is should. But you just want to know, hey, in terms of my communication, what's working well? What do you think I could do a little bit better? Okay. That's where you also come in because you cannot shy away from giving yourself feedback. You know, you need to just have that moment or moments of self-reflection. I mean myself, when I complete a photo session, I look at what I loved about the session and what I would change. And people are like, but you did great. Yeah, I'm sure I did, but there's always room where I can just do a little bit better. Just a smidge better. Better timing, better communication with the client, following through on some small tasks, like anything. There's always room for that. So we do self-reflection after every photo session and after every client I have. I start with me first. What did I really like about what happened in this interaction? What do I want to change for the next time? So look for those areas of improvement. Again, they're tiny, but those tiny moves make a huge difference in your success. Lastly, you need to wrap your arms around failure. People are like, I don't want to fail. Failure. First of all, it's not failing. There's never any failing. These are called learning opportunities. How else do you learn if you don't put yourself out there and see what happens? How does that work? These are learning opportunities. Consider, again, what didn't work well in your head. Now, we're not striving for perfection. We're not doing that. What we're saying is, I planned for an hour. It went an hour 30. What can I adjust? Clearly something was missed there. So what didn't work well, right? Then you can refine your approach. And then from there, you can bounce back. So you want to develop resilience to bounce back stronger than what you were before. Because now that I have done my self-reflection, I've seen where I clearly went wrong because it went 30 minutes longer. I know where to tighten up the next time I work with a photography client, right? It's not failure. It's never failure. We have to learn some way, somehow. And these are just simple learning opportunities. So now that we figured out those basics, you're asking yourself, well, how does a coach come in and help? Well, here's the deal. We can aid you in performing some specific activities that they're created so that you can develop that entrepreneurial mindset. Like we have ways to work with you that we're going to look at your creativity. We're going to look at critical thinking, your planning. If it's strategic, are you reactive? Are you proactive? And then, looking at your experiences. Are you learning from those past experiences? We can give you that middle of the road voice. We're that sounding board, right? So a career coach can lead you down the path to help you develop that mindset. And check it. It's gradual. Again, 21 days for a new habit, 90 days to adopt into your lifestyle. But we can get you down the path and you can gradually develop that entrepreneurial mindset that's required to truly navigate these small business waters. I mean, there's a lot going on here and people think, well, I didn't know. Ignorance is never an excuse, especially when it comes to the law. No, it's not an excuse. They're like, yeah, don't care that you didn't know or not, you're operating a business, right? This is where your coach can come in to help you figure out if you're on the path that you believe you should be on, right? We're your guiding North Star. So as we wrap this up, because we love to get it in, get it out, a little lunch break learning. We again have our Crafting Your Working Marketing Plan, a blueprint for small businesses workshop. It's going to be on Saturday, October 14th at 11 a.m. It is virtual. And because we love those small adult education settings, we're talking 15 seats. 15 seats, $20. It is virtual, but we are going to help you create a marketing plan that will set you up for 2024 and years to come. Because once you make it, honestly, you don't have to make it again. Just gonna go at, I'm just gonna tell you, like, you just do it one time. We're gonna give you all of that. So if you want to get more information about it, you can go to the HouJack DMS website. It's HouJackDMS.com. It is on our Eventbrite page. It's 15 seats, $20. It's an hour and a half. So we're going to get you started. Clearly, we may not get through the entire year. It is possible because we're going to do it by quarter, then do it by month, but we're going to get you set up. So if you want to get set up, get prepared for 2024. You want to meet with me in October to get that done. That's where you want to be. You can bring your cocktails, bring whatever you need to bring, but we're going to get into it. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful tool. So we want to thank you for tuning in today. This has been a great series. Again, you can go back and watch the previous episodes where we talked about detrimental assumptions. And I mean, these assumptions can get you into a world of hurt. We talked about how creating a business is not like Build-A-Bear. You just can't go in the store, pick up some pieces and think, voila, I've got a business. And lastly, we ended today with developing your entrepreneurial mindset. It is necessary to be successful in these small business waters. Again, if you have not and are not following us, then you can definitely do so. This is going to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, but we know that there's a better experience on YouTube. We're just saying. So we would love you would like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel because that's where it is. And you also have the opportunity, if you are on HouJackDMS.com, to get our newsletter where we will share more details about not only small business living, but your career as well, right? We cover all the things. So until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Make this week a good one. We'll see you soon.